Arch Manning's All the Rave at SEC Media Days on Tuesday, and Wednesday brings Brent Venables, R. Mason Thomas, and the rest of the Sooner contingent to the podium. Let's talk about it. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to Rise and Shine College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame college football. Welcome into the show, all four of you. Welcome. Check in as you get in. Make sure you wipe them feet on your way in. Checking out some of this stuff here on the obviously you've got the SEC going on today. Already had Kalen DeBoer show up to the podium, as well as got you'll also have, let's see, after that, Coach Leb, I think he's on the stage right now. Billy Napier with Florida, and then Brent Venables along with John Mateer, Robert Spears Jennings, and R. Mason Thomas coming to the stage to talk. What's up, everybody? Jimmy Satterfield, True Okie. Good morning, gentlemen. How we doing today? Do you guys have Arch laugh? Everybody was loving on some Arch Manning from yesterday. Oh, Paul Feinbaum. You can tell he just had a crush on the dude. It was great. What's up there, Tommy Tough Knuckles? What's up, brother? We out here making that bread, listening to Hall of Fame. Gonna be a good day. Hey, make that money, baby. Make that money. Good stuff. Yeah, we got a couple things we're gonna go over. I'm gonna go ahead and give you my top 5 SEC linebackers and edge rushers today, and then Friday I'll be putting out the power rankings for the SEC. First edition of the power rankings for the SEC. We'll also obviously have a voting poll for the top 25 once the season starts. Had quite a few people that voted in that last year. If you are a subscriber and become a member, even, well, if you just being a subscriber, you'll have the opportunity to vote in it this year. We'll get that out and for everybody as well. Good morning there, Mr. Crucifix Autumn, my guy. Always comes in and says hello. At least you don't say a whole lot during the show, but we appreciate you being here as always. Make sure everybody is hitting that like button. We are really working towards getting our 5,000 subscribers. That's the hope. You know, we're at, I think, a little over 4,500. So if we can get to 5,000 subscribers by the start of the season, which is now just over 6 weeks from now. As a matter of fact, it's exactly 6 weeks from now. August 30th, we get there by then. I will be giving away 2 free copies of the new 2026 college football game, which from what I understand is just fantastic. I hadn't really had a chance to play it yet. I've got the setup. I've already bought it. I just hadn't had a chance to play it. So we'll be getting to it. There's been a lot of stuff going on, and honestly, we're going to be doing a lot of really cool stuff moving into the season. Got, definitely going to keep everything kind of going as it is. Maybe a few changes to what we do as far as how many of the Rise and Shine. We may not do it the same days. We may do a little bit different deal, but because Friday nights are probably going to be, we're going to have a new segment on Friday nights. Kind of like our own game day show, but it'll be kind of previewing what's going on with Oklahoma, and that kind of stuff. Talk more about that as we go along. I'll let you know kind of what that is. But I'm actually going out to Florida to shoot the first episode of it. It'll be at the end of the month, so we'll talk more about it as we get moving in that direction. I don't want to like let the cat out of the bag completely, but I think everybody's going to like it a lot. It's kind of a new deal. And I think it's going to be a lot different from anything that anybody else is doing on YouTube right now. And I'm pretty excited about it myself. Bishop Frank, I saw that you called a few minutes ago. Sorry about that. I was actually on the phone. Let's see. Who else we got? He says, big salute. Good morning. Good to see you. All right. So what did everybody think about Arch Manning? He said, I'm just a normal guy. I'm just a normal dude. Like to play a little golf, pretty serious about football. Just a normal dude. We got to talking a little bit about that, obviously, on Monday with Big Mike. And I'm blown away by the fact that so many people are so sure that they're going to be so great this year. I just don't see it. I feel like it's. I think Josh Pate said something along the lines of it might be a 1% chance that they come into the Red River game with 2 losses. I think that there's a damn good chance that they come into the Red River game with 2 losses. I just really do. And they're leaving with 3 if they do. I just feel like Oklahoma is going to have this one. Again, there's a lot of reasons to believe that OU could win it, could win that game. And then if you do that and you've gotten off to a 6-0 start, and obviously, that's counting chickens a lot earlier than what you probably should when it comes to college football in the SEC. You also have a blue blood Michigan coming into the Palace in week 2, new quarterback. You feel like you should win that one, right? You really do. I know that Bryce Underwood is considered to be like that guy. But as a true freshman in week 2, going up against a defense like the one he's going to face with Oklahoma, I feel like they're going to put him in a blender, but it is what it is. So, hey, man, what's up, Caleb Stacy? The Texas A&M mishap was hilarious. Oh, but it wasn't it. My guy, I love it. It's great stuff. What's up there, Comanche Sooner? Good to see you. Duke, my guy. They had their shot. They blew it twice with the top defense and offense. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the crazy thing about it is that, seriously, it's one thing that I kind of figured that they were going to come apart last year with all the guys that they lost off that team from the year before. They were able to string it together. I think that their schedule was really good to them, not having to play any of the best offenses in the conference. Obviously, Oklahoma didn't have one of the best offenses in the conference. And even the losses that they had to Georgia, Georgia's offense wasn't very good. It just wasn't very good. And, their offensive line wasn't good. They didn't run the ball as well as you would have liked them to. And then, they had receivers that were dropping balls and they still beat them. So to me, they got away with one against Vanderbilt. They, hell, I thought that really in the game that Arch started, and yeah, they put up points and all that kind of stuff, but he started that game against Mississippi State. Mississippi State was with them the whole game, right until the end, whenever they ended up, I think they won by a couple of touchdowns. So it is what it is, but, yeah, listen, last year, I think that Ohio State was the best team, but they had an opportunity to go down there and tie it up, and they're on the 2-yard line and they go sideways and backwards in 2 straight plays and then end up obviously, fumble return for a touchdown because they're rolling him out of the pocket instead of I don't understand how you don't just run straight at the goal line from there. I just don't get it. So, and if, with Arch Manning being your running threat at that point, and not to say that they didn't have running backs that could have done it, how do you not have Arch in there trying to run it in? you know? It's just wild to me, man. It's just wild to me. Logan Licky, what's up, my guy? Been supporting the other guest channels. It's the usual suspects in the chat. My man, appreciate it. Appreciate it. Comanche Sooner. Let's see. Zofix. Only time will tell, but it feels like last year may have been Sark's peak at Texas. You know what? I agree. I agree. And, last year, well, it may have been the year before that may have been their peak. Getting to where they got, you beat an Arizona State team that I liked them. I think they're pretty decent. Scottaboo was a different cat. They didn't even really get started, and they should have probably won that game. The fact that they gave up that touchdown on 4th and 16 or whatever, and he gets a ball off, I can't believe that they even allowed it. But truth is, they should have probably lost that game. In the end, I think their best team and their best chance was the year before that when, look, I liked Washington's attack as much as anybody's. They had a good quarterback. They had good receivers. But Texas had plenty of chances to win that game. And Texas had a team that probably could have beaten Michigan, a lot more so than what Michigan had, or what Washington had going up against Michigan for sure. So I agree with you. I think that when they lose that playoff game in the last 4-team playoff that they had, to me, that was your best opportunity. Last year, they probably could have. They probably could have won it. In the end, I don't know that they're going to beat Notre Dame either if they'd have gotten them in that round. I just don't know that they would have. Because the one thing about Notre Dame, and it's the same thing that we're about to see from them this year, they play great defense. They run the hell out of the ball. And the thing is, this year they're going to be able to throw it a little bit too, I think, with Carr. And even if they went to the other kid that, I think his name is Minchie. I like him a lot too. He's a stud athlete, but I think that they're going to be real good. I don't know that they beat either one of those teams, but I think that when you look at them player to player, athlete, the talent that they have in the program, no doubt they should be able to play with anybody. But what's the big thing about this Texas team is that you see them, they get into these games and, you watch them last year, they ended up winning all those games that they were, you should definitely win them. You're playing against a team that you're definitely overpower when it comes to the amount of talent that you have, but they got away with them. They got away with them against Vandy. They got away with that Mississippi State game. They crushed Florida without DJ Lagway, but I think with DJ Lagway, does it stay the same? I think that this year Florida probably beats them in the swamp, because that's one team that probably is a lot more prepared to play against a Texas team. They've got the amount of talent that you need to be able to beat a team like that. You're not just going to overpower them. Now, again, they did whip the shit out of them in Austin, but without having their quarterback in was one thing about it. I would tell you that if I think that Texas peaked in 2023, it shows I really don't know I do know their roster, Colby. That's just crazy talk. We know their roster. We do know their roster. If you think that they're at their peak right now, I think that you don't pay attention to the roster and the fact that, and to the rest of college football, and the fact that, experience matters. Experience does matter. The last two national champions won the national championship because they put all their money into retention, into not having 20 guys or whatever, going into the NFL draft or leaving. What did you have last year? You had 13 guys that went to the draft. The year before you had 12. Look, I don't care who you are and how great you've been recruiting. That's still the core of your team is now not the same team anymore. And we know that that's the case this year. We absolutely know that that's the case. I don't know about that. Because I don't think that much of Penn State. I think Penn State's defense is very good. I think that they've got a good offensive coordinator. they didn't have, but they didn't. I mean, you realize they didn't complete a single pass against Notre Dame. They didn't complete a single pass to a wide receiver, not one. They had that tight end that they could throw to. That was it. And to me, I don't know. I think that they're probably better in that area this year. I think his second year with Andy Kotelnicki is going to be beneficial to them. But you know what? I got to see them get it done because kind of like Texas, they don't really get it done. Texas losing in 2023 against the easiest playoff field since its inception in 2014 was diabolical, no doubt. What's up, Greg Ray? Yep. I mean, again, and look, I think that I've said this plenty of times. I think Arch Manning's going to be damn good. I think he is. I think he is good. I think that he showed that he was pretty good in the games that he started, and then, of course, the UTSA game when he came in after Quinn got hurt. He played very well. What we did also see was that he did not play very well against Georgia at home, and they pulled Quinn out because he was playing like shit, and Arch came in and played worse. So, it is what it is, but I think that there's going to be some growing pains for him. I just think that there is, and I think that it's a lot to expect out of him for him to just go out there and instantly become the number one player in the country, which is the way that they're acting about it. And it's just ridiculous to me that every other program in the country has questions about when they have to reload and replenish what they have, and they're replacing guys. They're replacing 4 guys on the offensive line. 4. Including probably the best offensive tackle in the game from last year. And all of a sudden, they're just going to come back and be the same? Come on, man. Come on. I don't know how much they're going to be different, to be honest with you, Truoki. I don't think that, and I think that Knowles has his way of doing things and stuff like that, but I also think that a lot of these coaches are able to, I don't know that it's going to be a ton different. And I mean, pretty much all of them, the best defensive coaches in the country, they, it kind of moves in cycles a little bit. And that even includes Brent Venables. I mean, he doesn't do the exact same thing that he did whenever he was at Oklahoma before. And the game has changed a lot. You saw it go from a 3-3-5 to that was a big defense for national championship teams in the past, but it's because, it's a really good defense to go up against like these spread offenses and stuff like that. But you've seen him kind of go away from that, where he's going to more like I've seen more of like a 5-2-4, that kind of stuff. What's up, T-Boomer? Do you think Oregon will fall off some without Dylan Gabriel? I do not. I think that Dante Moore is a lot better than people are giving him credit for. I think that they're looking at that year, his true freshman season that he played quite a bit at UCLA. It wasn't great, but I think that he not only did he learn something about the game at that point. Why do I have sub only mode on? Because I want people to sub. But I think Dante Moore is one of the better quarterbacks. There's a lot to him, man. And I've saw the guy in person. He's got real arm talent. And the fact is, he's been there in that system. He got to kind of learn behind Dylan Gabriel. I think that, look, it's kind of, I think if they felt like they needed to go to the portal, they would have. They'd already done that. They've already done that in the past. So it kind of is what it is. I think he's going to be pretty good. I'm a big fan of Will Stein. I think he's a hell of a coach. He's proven that in the last 2 years where he's had Heisman finalists, both years. Making Dylan a Heisman finalist was a big deal, and it was his first year in the system, but it worked out well. And I think that when it comes to arm talent and just natural ability, Dante Moore's better than Dylan is. You know, it's just a fact. Arch will take a step back, have a growing pains. They will take a step back this year. I think they will too. Kobe says Texas has been recruiting at a very high level ever since Sark arrived. No shit. They've been doing it every year for forever. OU fans like to downplay star rankings, but this team is well positioned to make a serious run at a title next season. Next season or this season? What you talking about? They're not in as good a position to make a run at the title this year as you act like they are, and everybody else is trying to act like they are. What's up, David Whitehead, True Okie? What's up, Smook? You know, I think Oregon will fall off without doing. Let's see, what else do we have? How is Texas O-line? You better hope it gets better before October. I don't even think that it's terrible. I mean, they have one of the better offensive line coaches in the country, and they've definitely been recruiting. They made that a priority, but that doesn't mean that they're just going to step up and be the same. All I'm getting at is that there's a lot of things that have to be better than they were. I mean, or at least on par with what they were last year, in order for you to take that next step. And that's just what's expected right now. I mean, everybody's expecting them to go win the national championship. A lot of shit has to go well for you. A lot of things they are questions. A lot of things have to go well. You're saying next year, 2026 season. Okay. All right, Kobe. They don't mean shit unless they're developed. Correct. Thank you. Trying to catch lurkers. No, I'm trying to get people to damn sub to the channel and quit being freeloaders. What's up there, Mr. Whitehead? I think Dante Moore will be a lot better than people think as well. He has experience, took a whole year to learn the system. Yeah, and losing Evan Stewart, wasn't it? That they lost the receiver. I think that was big too, but it's not like that was the only one that they had. I mean, they brought in the kid, what's his name, from Duncanville. He was the number one receiver in the country. So, you know, do you expect him to be that guy right off the bat? Well, I don't know, but I would guess that when you're the number one receiver in the country, chances are you're going to be pretty good. They're pretty good at running back. I think that, again, what I like about Oregon is kind of the same thing that I like about a lot of these teams that I think are going to be good. Alabama, for instance, their defense is probably as good as anybody's. When you look at Mateo Uyunglele, what he did, and he was coming off the bench, and he was leading the Big Ten in sacks up until the playoffs. Obviously, I think whoever ended up leading the Big Ten was from Ohio State, but they played more games, obviously, than he did. But Mateo looked really good. They're loaded on that side of it. That's one thing that Dan Lanning brought to Oregon, is that they're going to play really good defense. I don't think that they have a big drop-off there. I just don't. And I think that Dante Moore's definitely, when you look at, I think that Dylan Gabriel was really good as a leader, right? I think he's a decent football player, but he didn't do anything spectacular, right? I mean, it's like he didn't have a better arm than anybody that you know, I can't think of anybody that he was better as far as arm talent was concerned. What he did was he was pretty good with the offense. You know, he kind of took what was coming to him, and, you know, he could run a little bit, but he wasn't the best runner in the world either. Dante can run too. You know, and I just think overall having a year with Will Stein is not hurting anybody. I mean, again, the last 2 years he's had Heisman finalists at quarterback. So do I think that Dante Moore is going to be a Heisman finalist this year? Maybe, maybe not. Kind of depends on how they end up doing. But I think that they're positioned to do very well at Oregon. So no telling. Oh, good grief. All right. Their window is closed for now. They had 2 golden opportunities with elite rosters on both sides of the ball and couldn't get it done. Right. And breaking in an O-line isn't easy. It'll take time, be some growing pains. Yeah. And I think defensively, they're not going to be as good. I like Ant Hill a lot. I think he's the best linebacker in the country. I'll just go ahead and give you that. I think he's the best linebacker in the country. Not by a bunch, but he is. I think that Colin Simmons is probably one of the better. I think Dylan Stewart is the best edge rusher. But then Colin Simmons, R. Mason Thomas, I mean, they're good there. I think that you having to replace the bulk of your interior defensive line, and in the spring portal, by the way, they went and got 5 guys in the spring portal. Usually the dudes that are in the portal that are defensive linemen, if they're good, they're not in the portal because they get paid. So expecting those guys to come in and be able to kind of do what you did a year ago, I think it's a lot to ask. Jahdae Barron's gone. I think it's a lot to ask, man. I like Michael Taft as much as the next guy. I'm just telling you that all of these things, for you to be what they were last year, as far as what they did last year, I think there's a lot to ask. Bunch of brand new receivers, other than Wingo and the other guy. And Wingo didn't do anything. He had one 100-yard game and 1 touchdown. He might be great. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Oh, I'm not even hating. Just so we understand, I'm not hating on Dillon Gabriel. I'm just telling you, as far as athleticism is concerned and the ability to, I don't look at Dillon. I think Dillon was a very good college quarterback. I don't look at him as a very good NFL guy moving forward, any of that kind of stuff. You guys know that I've said that before. You've heard me say that before, that he wasn't better than Shedeur Sanders or any of that kind of shit. That was all weird. And I think that it's kind of showing itself in their, all the stuff that they've done so far. Now, if I'm a Shedeur Sanders fan, I probably want him to get cut from Cleveland because it's a shit show over there. And loving, being a fan of Dillon Gabriel, it probably would behoove him to get cut too. But he got drafted too early for them to cut him. They're going to keep him around, I think. Yeah. Murad Watson was really good as a freshman. Same stats as OU's Jackson. Okay. Yeah, we will see. We will see. I mean, the thing is, I think it's wild that, could Texas win the game at Ohio State? They could. They could. They could lose it too. And I feel like you go to the swamp the week before the Red River game is really good for Oklahoma. Oklahoma's at home against Kent State. That means they're going to be still getting ready for Texas and resting up guys after probably the first quarter, while you guys are in a dogfight in the swamp. Win or lose that one, I feel like that puts Oklahoma in a really good position to win that game the week after that. We'll see, though. Okay, man. It's not the same thing, though. Again, whatever, bro. I'm gonna let you have that. The stats or no stats. Are you telling me that he's better than Jaden Jackson or he's as good as Jaden Jackson? Because I'm telling you, you're full of shit if you are. Arch Manning hadn't had to battle adversity in the league. You had to be battle tested to win championship and Heisman on top of that. Well, we'll see. I mean, look, I think that Arch is going to be good. I think that he's going to have some growing pains, though. I do. I think he's going to have some growing pains. And I don't even think that if they don't win the national championship, I don't think it's going to be because Arch Manning sucked. I think it's going to be because a lot of shit has to come together. Swamper's bigger than the shoe for sure. Yeah, listen, as far as that goes, I mean, it's a tough place to go play at Ohio State no matter what. I don't think it really matters if you win or lose that game overall. But I'm just saying, I don't think that it's out of the realm of possibility for you guys to go into Red River with 2 losses. I just don't. But it being a conference game, of course it's more important. Of course it is. Of course it is. But it's a tough game though. Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the way that Kent State, they had to wait to fire their coach until it was well into February, I think, before they finally did. And I said they went and got 5 dudes out of the portal because they didn't have enough there. That's not what I didn't state that he was a bum in the portal. I said they went and got a bunch of dudes out of the portal. And I didn't even call any of them bums. I'm just telling you that usually when you have to go get guys out of the portal, there's times that they're pretty good, but not all the time. It is what it is, man. Look how Arch looked against Georgia. He's going to get defensive like that all year long. Yeah, look, man, I think it's going to be tough. He's going to get defenses like that all year long again, is what you're saying? Well, not all year long. I think that some of them are going to be better than others. But again, you got to remember they're playing the weaker half of the SEC schedule compared to Oklahoma. There's actually not a whole lot of mutual opponents on the schedule. So it kind of is what it is. But again, I also think that having gone through that already last year, you're going through it again now. This year, I feel like a bunch of new quarterbacks, all but 2 of the SEC quarterbacks are first-year starters. That should be at least, it should help Oklahoma as well, because Oklahoma's defense, I believe Oklahoma's defense is going to be the best defense in the SEC. That goes a long way. And if you look at the way things went down last year, the offense was non-existent. It just didn't exist. The worst damn coordinator I've ever seen in my life. They had the injuries. And you can't downplay the injuries, but on top of that, Arch Manning, Jackson Arnold was not good. He was not good, man. And shit, I feel like you would have been in better shape. Let's see. Where's this world at? House money. Where's this world at? Look, as I said, all those things will have to come together. All of that shit. They're going to have to be legit on the back end. They're going to have to be legit in the trenches. I don't know that they are, because they literally had to go get 5 guys. Out of those dudes, do you think all of them are going to be hits? I think they need at least 2 or 3 of them to be hits for sure. And that's a gamble. For all that to come together, for your receiving core to come together, it's brand new. For your offensive line, 4 out of 5 guys are brand new. That's a lot to ask, man. That's a lot to ask. I think that, yeah, I guess they could be. But if they are, yeah, you have to take your hat off to them. No doubt. Coach Top, what about recruiting strategy? Oh, we're going to get into this, Coach Top? Maybe. What? They've got the money? Look, they've got the money to do it. They figured it out so well that they lost Felix Ojo to Texas Tech. It is what it is. They're getting guys that they want. They're getting the 5-star dudes. It's Texas. That's what they do. That's what they do. It is what it is. My thing would be, I don't know that they're necessarily developing them any better than they ever were. And because again, we haven't seen them take on the same level of a schedule that we've seen Oklahoma take on. And they haven't won it yet. They haven't won anything big yet. They won the Big 12 championship year before last. and promptly lost to freaking Washington. Turn around and lost again the next year in the damn semifinal when, I mean, they had Clemson, which was, they were a lucky entrant into the damn, I mean, they had 3 losses. They were a lucky entrant into the damn playoff. And they shouldn't have beaten Arizona State either. You can tell me either of those teams were as good as Texas on paper? No way. No fucking way. That's where I'm at. How many hits does OU need? OU hit. OU's already good on the defensive line. I don't think that you need a ton to go. I think all you need is for them to play decent offense for them to be good to go. Just decent offense. And I think they're going to be better than decent. He's got the right culture there, and the woman he got in his corner drives him. Oh, my Lord. Oh, they were getting divorced 6 months ago. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Yeah, that would be kind of cool if they did. It would definitely be cool if they did. I think OU is going to be fine. I know, Coach Top, I think I know what you're alluding to. I don't think that you're excited about the way things are going recruiting-wise and them kind of going the way of the Jim Nagy and his staff deciding who is good and who isn't, and they're trying to play. I know a lot of people think that they're playing money ball and doing all that shit. They're not willing to. I think they have to make an adjustment. I think they're going to have to make an adjustment on what they're willing to do. But I also think a lot of it has to do with the fact that right now they're getting negatively recruited. Plain and simple. They're getting negatively recruited. And until that stops, it's going to kind of be what it is, that you're going to have to win for that to stop, is the thing. You're going to have to win. So once that happens, then we'll see. Oh, dude, you ain't wrong. The OG SEC bandwagon fans' heads will explode. Yeah. I don't know how many of them are necessarily bandwagon fans, but I think everybody's head in the SEC that isn't, if you're not an OU or Texas fan and they end up playing for the SEC championship in the next year or two, oh shit. They lose their shit for sure. They will lose their shit for sure. September 6th can't get here soon enough. Which one is September 6th? You mean October 6th? That's the Texas game. Oh, yeah, Michigan. Yeah, Michigan. I got you. I'm excited for that game, too. And that's the big thing. You're not wrong. T-Boomer, that's exactly right. They got to win. And this is what we talked about this on K. Chris when I was on with K. Chris and Mason the other night. And I'll just say it again. At this point right now, I don't know that you're going to have a lot of excuses left if you're Brent Venables. I just don't think you do. I think it's time for you to go ahead and win, because everything that you've needed, I mean, we can talk about the injuries were what they were last year. They should have had that. They should have that fixed at this point. The hope is that they have that fixed at this point. You've got a quarterback that he knows the offense. They've got probably one of the best running backs in the country in Jaden Ott, along with the running back room they already had, which was very good. Offense should be fine. The defense is probably going to be one of the, if it's not the best team, if it's not the best defense in the country, it's going to be a top 5 defense. It is. So that means that you're going to be in a lot of games that are close again. So it's going to come down to, how do you handle these things and do you get better? I'm at the point now that I think that you're probably running out of excuses, if you're Oklahoma, to get it done, if you're Brent Venables. Look, I get it. The schedule's certainly a lot harder than it is at Texas. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Week in and week out, it's definitely harder. But they have recruited plenty well enough. And you can sit there and talk about what Texas has done. If you look at what Oklahoma's done recruiting, they've done just fine. They have done just fine. You can talk about last year if you want to, when they only recruited 17 guys because they were more interested in what they needed to do in the portal because he turned into a must-win year. Okay. They were in the top 10 and in the top 5 the 3 cycles before that. Where are they at right now? We'll see. They end up with Jake Krull, things could change. But I don't know that they get into the top 10 this time around either. I don't even know that they care. And the truth is, we won't know what this, Coach Top, you asked, we're not going to know whether or not his strategy is going to work for a couple of years. We're not going to know. I can tell you that, and so like if we're talking about the difference in, because I was looking at, I had the Okie like clowns were talking stupid. Taj Overton versus like Brian Harris. Brian Harris kind of has been under the radar. He played in New Jersey and he just moved to Florida this last year or whatever. Nobody really knows who he is, but if you look at who they are, watch their film. He's not, if Taj Overton is a 4-star, Brian Harris is definitely a 4-star. But he's not in the rankings. It's because they hadn't seen a ton of him yet. Chances are he'll be a lot higher up by the time this season's over with. That's all I'm saying. We know damn sure the 2024 class, the 24K class, you've heard Brent Venables say it, that it's his best class he ever had. They were a top 5 class the year before that, and he said the year after that was a better class. Look, I think that there were dudes that you're going to tell me that they didn't screw it up with Jaden Jackson, especially when he was right there next to David Stone on the line at IMG. There's no way that he's ranked in the 200s. At worst, he was a top 100 kid. He was a freshman All-American and started every game as a freshman. He's the only guy to do that at that position since Tommy Harris. Shit. And Tommy Harris is one of the best defensive linemen in history. Certainly at Oklahoma, but he was damn good in the NFL. Perennial Pro Bowler. So it is what it is, man. I think that you can look at these rankings and you can stay stuck on them all you want to. I think that you absolutely have to take it with a grain of salt at sometimes, man. And I'm telling you that this roster is definitely good enough to be a playoff team and win a national championship. Are they going to do it this year? No, I'm not predicting that. No, I'm not, because I got to see it. And that's why I'm telling you, I believe that right now, I think they're good enough to get there and do their thing. Would it surprise me if they lost 3 or 4 games? Probably not. But I'm actually getting to the point where if they're healthy at all, and I think their offensive line is going to be fine, I don't think that Bill Bedenbaugh is the problem at all. At all. But I think it's time to step up and show that you are that team and that you are that guy if you're Brent Venables. Has he made the adjustments yet that he needs to make? I'm not sure that he has, but he needs to. Because listen, I love Brent Venables. I love the guy. I think he's great. I've always liked him. I think he's one of the best defensive minds in history of football. And here's the thing. I think him calling the defense and being that involved in it this year is a good thing for OU. I think the fact that they've got Kevin Wilson back in the fold to kind of take over and do the things while he's busy with the defense and keep the game going or whatever, acting as head coach at those times is probably a good thing as well. I think the offense is in good hands. I think the offense knows what it's doing, and they're competing against one of the best defenses in the country day after day and doing well against them. So it's time to step up and situationally, you can't be having mistakes like you had against Ole Miss this season. Can't have it. Close games, you cannot get into close games and not win them. If you're not winning close games now, if you lose a bunch of close games, that's what I was saying to Chris Mason the other night. He said, I think that, 7-5, he could keep his job if it's a bunch of close games that they lose. I almost feel like that's worse. I almost feel like that's worse because they've had a bunch of close games in his first 3 years that they haven't really won. It just seems like something's always gone the other way. The additions of new coaches we have is going to make this team way better. I think they're going to be okay. I'm just telling you that they're running out of excuses is what I'm getting at, T-Boomer. They're running out of excuses. And I'm not saying that it's an excuse for last year or anything like that. Look, there's reasons for what happened last year. There's just no two. There are a lot of Shorthorn fans in here today, Jake. Kimberly K, what up? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's I think you're right, Benji. Yeah, you're trying there, Kobe, a lot, but you know better. I think beating Michigan is definitely a nice step in the right direction. No doubt about it. I agree with you. I agree. But again, that's one of those. I think that they're going to have a really good. Am I as confident in BV going into year 4 as I was going into year 2? Good question. Let's see. I'm thinking about how confident I was going into year 2. I think that they're going to be really good this year, Shawty. I don't know. Maybe. I think they're going to be fine. I think that they should win 9 games. I think I picked them to win 9 games in year 2. They ended up winning 10. So we'll see. I think that I'm at this point, I'm ready to see everything. I think I'm ready to see everything at this point. I want to see him take that next step as a head coach. In year 2, you could still excuse a few things because he was a second-year head coach overall. Now he's going into his 4th year. Some of the things on that learning curve should be flattening now. You should be better at it. So it kind of is what it is. Yeah, well, I've got Texas winning 8 there, Dookie Price. Oh, you has to protect home field for sure. Yeah, they need to go into Red River undefeated. That's my feeling. What's up there, Rob? Good to see you. Yep. That's the point I'm trying to make. Look, they gotta hope that everything works out and they don't have any drop off at any of those positions, including quarterback. Look, if he's so good, how come he wasn't the starter over Quinn last year? Don't tell me loyalty because that's an indictment on Sark. If really it was about loyalty and not about winning, I'd be pissed off if I'm a Texas fan if that's the case. I would be pissed the fuck off that you didn't play the best player that could have gotten the job done. I would. I'd be mad as shit. They should be Michigan. Yeah, I would agree. I think you will. Michigan's defense is good, though. Yes, exactly. So you need to go out there. And here's the thing. I think in the Michigan game, you got to expect that new quarterback, even if it wasn't Underwood, and I think it's going to be Underwood, you have to expect that, listen, they should be able to get him to make some mistakes. This defense, the pressure they're going to put on him, where the pressure's coming from, he's not going to know where it's coming from. He's never seen anything like it. He will not have seen anything like it. And so when you look at that, and that's the thing that I look at is like, look, this guy's he's going to come into a situation where they're going to put his ass in a blender. You know, they're going to put him in a blender. And so what needs to happen then is that means that you're probably going to get some opportunities to score on short fields. You need to make good on those. If there was anything that really hurt Oklahoma last year is they did not take advantage of good situations like the Tennessee game. You get 2 turnovers in plus territory, and then you turn the ball over immediately on both of those possessions. When Hawkins got in, hell, he was moving right down the field. Had they not waited that long to pull Jackson out, and I think it was a big damn mistake to put him back in. I understand that the South Carolina game had gotten out of hand. That was a Seth Littrell problem. That's what got him fired finally. Because he had Bauer Sharp blocking one-on-one against the best edge rushers in the country. It made no sense. No tight end should be going up against the best edge rusher in the country. Never. Chipping is one thing. It was just ridiculous. You look at, people were talking about Lenore Sellers. He had 201 total yards in that game. 1 touchdown. He didn't do shit against the defense. They got short fields early on, and it was out of hand early on. But they should have went back to Michael. They probably wouldn't have lost the Mizzou game. I don't think that it would have changed anything except for they would have ended up winning by more against Alabama with the way that they played. But they could, if Jackson wasn't afraid to throw the ball down the field, they'd have scored more in that game anyway. We saw that against Missouri for sure. Yep. Third down conversion percentage over 55% and time of possession at 65 will get us 10 wins. I'm just saying, okay, I'm not even hating on Quinn, man. I don't think that he's as terrible as a lot of people act like he was. And for the record, I don't think he should have went in the 7th round either. I don't know what the hell was going on with this draft, just to be honest with you. Again, Shedeur Sanders is not a 5th rounder. At worst, he's a 2nd rounder, and I don't even think that. I think that's stupid too. Now, I think that there's a reason why all that shit went down, but I'm just telling you that's wild that you would literally. Tyler Shuck, Dylan Gabriel too. All those guys getting drafted in front of him is ridiculous. That's just crazy talk. But, and I would say again, I don't think that Quinn is as bad. The problem with Quinn, though, and I can see part of it is that he's always getting hurt and banged up. And I think he's got some issues with anxiety, and in certain games, he just doesn't get it done. I don't think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread for sure, but the point I'm making is if Arch is all everything, he should probably have won the job. Because, shit. Again, y'all didn't even have the best schedule that you had to play, and not winning some of the games. You can't win. You can't beat Georgia at home. You can't beat Georgia in the SEC championship game whenever their quarterback goes down. In the first half, he went down. You had a whole half to get their asses. Didn't get it done. Yeah, Quinn he was all right. He was better than a lot of the guys they've had lately. No doubt about that. Certainly better than like Sam Ehlinger and those guys. I don't think that they're giving him anything. I don't think they've given him shit so far. And everything you've heard is that the defense wins some battles and sometimes it's the offense, but it's competition. It's high level competition out there, which is a good thing. It doesn't hurt anything. Yes, absolutely. He's had happy feet, man. He'd get the hell out of that he'd get out of the pocket when he didn't have to get out of the pocket too. We saw that a lot. From day one, we saw that. He looked awful against Houston. Like awful. Terrible. Yeah, I know. I know, Benji. The tush push. Yeah. Hey, you know what? I would tell you this. I don't know how much of his games you guys have watched at this point. There's plenty of time to go see it. He's not afraid to go into any formation. He's not. I saw them in jumbo packages and shit like that around the goal line. I love it. Getting under center a lot. Who's backing up Arch? They have a guy they like. And he's pretty good. From what I could tell, he was pretty good. Trey Owens is who it is. He's a true. What is he? He's a redshirt sophomore or redshirt freshman. I mean, isn't he? Yeah, redshirt freshman. He looks pretty good. He was a high 4-star, wasn't he? Yeah. Here's the thing. You know for sure that they're not going to get bad quarterbacks there. That's true. Yeah, I know. Hawkins is better than Arnold. Yes, I agree. But Michael Hawkins' name isn't Arch Manning either. Let's not act like that's the same thing. And I think we all know that a lot of that had to do with the fact that they invested a lot of money NIL-wise into Jackson Arnold. There were people that wanted him to continue to, and I think there's still a lot of people that think that he should still be at Oklahoma, to be quite honest with you. I'm not one of them. But it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Last year, this time, all we heard about was how many turnovers he had. No doubt. No doubt. And listen, last year at this time, Brent Venables was trying to fire Seth Littrell and wasn't being allowed to fire Seth Littrell. Then into the fall camp, he was trying to fire Seth Littrell and wasn't allowed to fire Seth Littrell. By the time the Texas game rolled around, he really wanted to fire Seth Littrell, no matter what he was saying after the game. He wasn't allowed to. It was a mess. It was absolutely it was. And all those things come together at the same time. I mean, shit, it is what it is. And we saw that's the worst offense I can remember seeing ever at Oklahoma. And I remember the 90s and how bad it was a lot. Don't get me wrong, it was pretty close to that in the 90s. I've never seen that inept of an offense though, ever. It just wasn't. It just wasn't. It wasn't called well. You had a lot of injuries. At the end of the year, it looked a lot better than it had, but it was still. It just wasn't that good, man. It just wasn't that good, and you couldn't depend on them. I think it would have been better if Hawkins is in the game, and you would have given him more opportunity to be ready in case you call on him this year. Now, the good news is they've got an actual quarterback coach in the building now that works with them. You know, Arbuckle's a quarterback guy. I think that they're going to be fine in that instance if they need to go to him, because I think that he's got all kinds of talent, all kinds of talent. You know, I've heard other people talking about, in fact, I heard the high top guys earlier talking about, because they were talking about Oklahoma. I'm going to be on the show with them this afternoon, actually, at it'll be at 1:45. Well, it'll be after Brent Venables goes on. I'll be on with the high top guys. So probably somewhere around, let's see, 2:30 to maybe 3:00 Central Time. I should be on with them. High Top Sports. But they were talking about it again, and his guy Ty, his Shelton's co-host Ty, was talking about that. He said something about Hawkins is, he can only run two. That was the sentiment from a lot of people, that all he could do was run. That's not the case, but that was the way it was put out there. Facts are that you didn't have the receivers out there to get it done. And while I felt like, guys like Zion Kearney got a lot better as the year went along. Obviously, we saw at times in the bowl game where, you had Carry-On looked really good. He didn't drop a ball that I saw all year. I think he's going to be a lot better this year because of it too. But you brought in a lot of receiving talent that, with Deion Burks being back, got to keep him healthy. But if he stays healthy, that's a big-time weapon. We've talked about Giovanni Gibson. Wait till the world sees him. Wait till the world sees him. If he's healthy, and when this stuff kicks off, he's going to be legit. I'd love to see Jaden Gibson back. Love to. I don't know what's going on there. I haven't heard anything definitive about that or anything like that. So sounds to me, well, I think Venables was saying he expects him to be back at some point this year, right? But yeah, Eho, I would tell you that Latrell, he inherited a bad situation at O-line and wide receiver. He made this situation worse than it was, though, at both of those positions. There's the things that we've heard, that I've heard out of there from day one, was that it wasn't good. And the biggest problem with Seth Latrell was there was zero communication going on between even him and his assistants. It wasn't good. There was no give and take whatsoever. It was a bad situation, man. It was a bad situation. Now, I'm not blaming it all on him. I think there's plenty of blame to go around. The Gators channel, correct. Yep. Yeah. And we'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a bit too. When is Hawkins' turn? He's legit. Yeah, I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to be great. I hope that, my hope about Hawkins is that if Mateer comes back next year, that it's not a situation where they end up leaving. Because I think the hope is that they can get him his red shirt back this year. That way, no matter what, he'll have that amount of time. If that's the case, if Mateer comes back and he doesn't stay, I'm going to hate that. I'm going to hate that, because I feel like, I said it before, I think that before all is said and done, that kid's going to be in New York for the Heisman ceremonies. Not saying he necessarily wins it. You have to wait and see. But I think he's good enough to be there. Definitely good enough to be there. Yeah. Yeah, we do. Thankfully, thankfully. stand here with the foundation still intact. Yeah. And look, I mean, I think for everything that happened, I mean, and you have to go back and you have to remember that in 2020 and 2021, they only got 5 total offensive line recruits in those 2 seasons. That's not good, man. That is not good. So for that to happen, you know, for that to happen was it meant that you had to play that portal game, right? Sorry, I was looking at a text message from work, so you had to hope that the portal game worked out perfect, and it didn't. You know, I think that Spencer Brown was a lot better player at the end of the year, but early on he wasn't. And the injuries that kind of kept, they had 9 different combinations on that O-line. They were a lot better at the end of the year. And I mean, he was grading out that way. You can look at the grade outs on PFF and you know that they were a lot better. But by that time, it was already it was what it was. And again, Jackson Arnold wasn't reading the right on the read option, you know, the RPO. The dude couldn't count to 6. He didn't know whether there was that enough in the box to hand it off or hold on to it. It seemed like he made the wrong decision every time. Afraid to throw the ball down the field. A lot of this stuff, yeah, a lot of those sacks, somebody said it in here a minute ago, a ton of it was about the fact that he would hold on to the football. He didn't want to throw it. You saw Burks when he got back in before he got hurt against Mizzou, was screaming at Jackson, throw the fucking ball. And Jackson was shaking his head no. Shaking his head no. I mean, and again, so here's why I'm saying I have a problem with that, because at this point, the season is basically already gone to shit anyway. Why the fuck do you need to keep Jackson in at that point? Why? You know that you've already fired your coordinator. You know that Jackson's probably gone. I would have gone with Hawkins and said to hell with it. And that's a Venables decision to make. And I don't like the decision that they made. So that's why I'm telling you that I think that the excuse time, I don't think there's going to be a lot of excuses this year. I don't think that I can't imagine having that many injuries again. And that would be about the only way that you really could have an excuse this year is if you had similar kinds of injuries. I don't think that's going to be the case. So now it's time to see better decision making out of the staff. Period. Win games in the tight times. You have to. You have to now. I still don't think that they necessarily fire him unless it's like 6-6 or worse. But I would tell you that his seat will be boiling if they don't win 8, 9, whatever. I think his seat's going to be boiling either way. Dude, Anderson was not faking his injury. It was a torn quad, dude. A torn quad. What's up, Derek? I know that everybody wants to say that, man. But we're not going there on that. I'm never going to do that. And I'm going to tell you something. How could you really believe that when the medical team was misdiagnosing not just Nick, a lot of them? We can talk about this and be real about this now. That medical team was shitty. Makari Vickers, you know what? Hey, they misdiagnosed all kinds of. He ended up having to have shoulder surgery on an injury that they misdiagnosed here. And he had to have surgery once he went to CU. From what I understand, it sounds like it's the same thing going on with Caden Helms. Missed. Gentry Williams, they screwed that up big. Why was he hurt last year? Because the injury from 2 years before was re-injured because they didn't do surgery on the right fucking thing. So it healed wrong, and he had to get surgery again. That's just a few that I know about. So we can sit here and say all we want to about Nick Anderson or whoever faking all that shit. I don't buy it. I don't buy it because I know for damn sure that the medical team was not doing its fucking job. End of story. Pretty much, yeah. I think so. Is that whole medical staff gone? It wasn't completely gone, but when they hired the new trainer, that means that when it goes back through he came in, started hiring his people. Yes, it's going to be basically a wholesale change. It's going to be a wholesale change. But it was shitty. Think about what Teddy and Gabe said when the whole Nick Anderson thing came about. I know that was the Twitter thing that went through there, but I'm not doing that shit. I know better than that. Now, do I think that Nick was rallying people to leave with him? Probably. He was pissed. I just hope the O-line is fixed, Coach Top says. I do too, but I think it is. How can you, Coach Top, are we really second-guessing Bill Bedenbaugh? Because I don't see why you would. The only thing I've heard about Giovanni is that believe it or not, brother, it's real. I would agree with exactly what you're saying. It's hard to believe. It's harder to believe that it's hard to believe that that's the case. It's the case, bud. I know it's not being talked about very much, but why do you think it's not being talked? If they were so fucking good, they'd be talking about it, saying, fuck you, it is not that. They'd be labeling Nick Anderson, saying he was lying. His brother wouldn't still be working at Oklahoma, I can tell you that. Think about it. Yeah. Well, weeks at a time. Well, I know a lot, and okay, so then if that's the case, the only thing I would say on Brew on this, if it's hard to believe, but so it's one of two things. Either they were doing too much hitting and shit like that in practice at the end of the year or all year, but it wasn't the defensive guys getting hurt. Yep. Derek knows this. And look, I'm going to tell you, this dude right here, he knows what he's talking about. Because I've heard it everywhere. Yeah. Bauer Sharp wasn't as bad as everybody made him out. They shouldn't have had him running the football on jet sweeps and freaking throwing the ball. It wasn't necessarily Bauer's fault that he was the only guy that was still around to play at the end of the year, and they were running the entire offense through him. It was bad play calling. It's bad play calling. But, and I get it. A lot of people hated Bauer Sharp. I've heard legend and all that shit that he hated Bauer Sharp. And he got to be where, come on, man. That pass play that they ran against LSU for him to throw the ball, he didn't need to throw it when he was getting fucking tackled and just throw it up for grabs like that. That was stupid. Definitely stupid. But he wasn't bad. He played pretty well. Well, I agree. Yep. Yeah, I was talking about that the other day. Yep. So that's what Brian Kelly was talking about it Monday, that they let him take his time with it. They brought him back slowly. That's why he was running with the third string if he was running anything at all during the spring, because they were just doing it slow. It wasn't because he sucked. It was because he was still have those lingering effects. The wreck just happened on Friday, apparently, last Friday. And he was in the hospital. Nothing serious that should keep him out of action from what they're saying. So they're expecting a lot out of Nick. And I listen, if he's healthy, I would expect a lot out of Nick. He's a damn good player. Dude had 10 touchdowns and freaking 800 yards as a redshirt freshman, and he had 37 catches was all. It's a lot of touchdowns, man, for 37 catches. He's a player. See, no, I don't. I think it was about the medical team. That's what I'm trying to tell you, brother. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's not. I said it's either one or the other. And I'm telling you, and if you listen to what Gabe and Teddy said on their show, and they know what is coming out of that place, they were getting in front of it saying there's going to be a lot of changes made on the medical staff as they go into this NFL style franchise, sports medicine, all that shit. They said it. What did they do? They went out and hired an NFL medical team from the Saints. Yes, I'm telling you, it wasn't about hitting too much or any of that shit. It was about that they were getting misdiagnosed. And I'm telling you that there's at least, I've got 5 guys in my head right now that I'm not going to say that have been injured and misdiagnosed in the last year. No. He left. He's gone. Now we got to deal with him at no shit. That's look, and look, I have no problem with Nick, man. I'm not gonna buy into all that. He was, I don't know exactly what everything happened, but look, unless he's playing Oklahoma, I'm rooting for him. I think Rodney being still there too tells you a lot. That they love Oklahoma. He's always loved Oklahoma. I don't buy into all the stuff that he was rallying other guys to leave either. I know that the staff told most of those guys to get on, including Nick. Because when it started getting loud, and definitely they said what they said about it, that he was having to pay and go. He had to get an MRI done on his own. They didn't even do an MRI on him at OU. Why not? The machine's there. Why didn't you do it? And then he was getting his rehab. He was rehabbing off campus. Once that started happening and everybody knew about it, they asked him to leave. They told him you should get in the portal. This is what it is. Yep. No, and I think they are going to be okay. Listen, I don't know how this ended up getting to this point where we're having this conversation this deep, but it is what it is. But it is what it is, man. He will be talking this afternoon. Obviously, BV will hit the podium at, I believe, let me go back to that real quick just to make sure I give the right time. I think it's 2:45 Eastern. Yep, 2:45 Eastern time. Venables hits the stage. So, and then obviously they'll have Mateer, Robert Spears Jennings, and R. Mason Thomas also coming up as well. So 2:45. I'll be on with the high top guys after he's off. So probably I would say we'll go Eastern time, just 45 minutes later, maybe. Probably about 3:30 Eastern. So it's 2:30 Central time. I'll be on with those guys for a little bit to talk about what he had to say and what we're seeing moving forward. We're going to be doing some other stuff with the high top guys as well coming up. Um, I don't want to let the complete cat out of the bag. He talked about it a little bit, but no, it's not speculation. We're just gonna, yeah. Well, what is that? But what do you mean by fishy? So what are you saying? Are we trying to? Is that you trying to blame Nick Anderson for it, or are you saying that it was maybe they were a little soft? I think that could be part of it. But they were a little bit soft, and they were hitting. Now, I mean, two things can be true at the same time. I'm not going to sit here and say it's all about that. I think you got to dial it back a little bit as the season goes on. I think that staying I mean the science tells you that you got to back off of that shit as the year goes along. That you don't do a lot of hitting, and you shouldn't need to do a ton of hitting by the end of the year. Middle end of the year, you shouldn't have to be doing a ton of hitting because you're getting all you need on Saturdays. I think you could spend a lot more of that time and get more out of it if you were more film session, more walkthrough time, paying attention to tendencies and things like that. There's a lot of stuff you can do. And I don't know. I'm going to tell you that they were doing too much hitting at the end of the year last year. I'm going to tell you that that's the case. But now Boganaski will tell you that he doesn't agree with me on that. But I'm just saying, if you're hitting almost at all at the end of the season, I think it's too fucking much. I don't think you should have to. If you can't keep those guys at a level of competitive level without going full speed all the time, something ain't right. But I don't think that's necessarily the case. I mean, we also heard people talking about the fucking practice field, shit like that. There's a lot of things that got thrown out there for a while. They subscribe to Matt Blackwell. They think the wide receivers sat out. Resting guys with prior injuries like Nick Anderson. Yeah. Yeah. I would agree. I think that's what a lot of people think. I think you're right. That's what a lot of people think. I don't know how true it is. I don't know how, and maybe it is. Maybe some of it is. But I can tell you that Nick Anderson was hurt. Yeah, I mean, he had a torn quad. It's not that hard to find that information. Yeah. There's lots of things you can look. Again, the guy that they just brought in, I forget his name, the guy from the Saints is considered one of the best there is at recovery stuff and rehabilitation stuff. He was the director of rehabilitation with the Saints. He's that dude. What, that they were sitting out? It's not true. I agree with you. And that would be, here's the thing, Coach Top. I think that you would have to believe that EJ don't know shit or either that or he was in on it. And I don't believe that for a second. And I know that he pushes his guys hard. EJ ain't easy on those dudes. Period. So there's no way in hell that I believe that that's the case. And on top of that, listen, we saw shit. What's his name that he went to Mississippi State? Damn it. He played his ass off, tried his ass off. I mean, he just wasn't great. But I mean, dude, to me, hold on. Yeah, Brennan Thompson. Brennan went out there and put his body on the line too. He didn't get hurt till the end of the year. No, they think that. No, I get what you're saying. Okay. I'll tell you, the med team was not good. I think that's the biggest problem. I think that was where you were having an issue with injuries. Like I said, Gentry Williams' injury that kept him out last year was a year old. Just put it to you that way. And, there's a lot of it. Look, there's a lot of this shit will come out probably, over time, it'll all come out and we'll all know once it's all over with. But as of now, it isn't still. It just is what it is. But it's definitely been a problem. I think that could have had something to do with Brennan was terrible. Yes, son. He tried though. Hey, man. And okay, just for I knew this was coming. Based on that, though, if you're saying he's terrible, but he was the best wide receiver they had last year that played for any amount of time. He was the best one they had. So if that's the case, how can you expect much out of him? Because Brennan's a speed guy. He's a go down the field and get it. He had, he was, but hell, he was up there making plays and running routes that you didn't expect him to run. Trying to get him the ball early. I mean, I think he's more of a track guy for sure. But he played his ass off. He did the best he could do under the circumstances and with a guy that wasn't willing to throw the fucking football down the field. Yeah. Brennan and Zion Kearney led the wide receiver room in reps during the spring. Yeah. The OC was bad. He absolutely was. Is wide receiver the biggest question going into this season? I think it needs to prove itself. I don't know how big a question it is. I think they're going to be fine. I think EJ is one of the best wide receiver coaches in the country. Without a doubt. If they're healthy, they'll play well. You'll have a group of guys that plays very well if they're healthy. And no matter what, there's only really two guys in the wide receiver room that are brand new to this. Everybody else has got experience. A lot of it, the sophomores, is because they played a lot last year. Not because they probably should have, but because they had to. Yep. Helms, Gentry, so many others I know. Makari personally, guys. It ain't hearsay. It's not hearsay. I talked to Makari's family about it. It's not hearsay. They did miss it. I think that the wide receiver room is going to be fine. Look, Giovanni Gibson is the truth, man. That guy is the truth. Yeah, he is. I saw him. Yeah. Good for Brennan. I'm not hating on Brennan Thompson. Unk being rowdy, coming in being rowdy. If the OC and QB or what everyone says, they'll be fine. Yeah, I think they'll be good. And listen, we're hearing a lot of different shit. Coach Top, as well as I do, he's not a number one guy, or he's not an NFL guy. That's what we're talking about. We can sit here and talk about. I'm not hating on Brennan. I'm not. But let's not act like he's a number one receiver and he's going to be, an NFL dude, because we all know better than that. Come on, man. I ain't even hating on the dude. Don't start that shit. You start talking about his mama. Mama T will be in here fucking with us. Don't even do it. Don't do it. She's wild. She's definitely wild. There's value there. And look, he's definitely a threat. His speed, his track speed makes him a threat no matter where he is. He'll have some touchdowns this year where he just blows by everybody because he can. Whoa. Whoa. Coach Top, you're not comparing him to Drake Stoops, are you? Come on, bro. Come on. Drake caught everything everywhere and was a fucking walk-on, by the way. He was damn sure the leader of that team 2 years ago. Come on, man. It ain't the same. It ain't the same dude, man. No, he has done that. He's done that on film. He gets off. He can get off of press coverages. Yes, he does. He also, you know what? Something that he did very well. I happen to know he's the one that called that play where he got the touchdown against South Carolina. He was the one that caught it on film that if we get in this look, they're not even going to pay attention to me. I'm not going to run the route. I'm going down the field. Throw it. Twice it happened. The first time Jackson wouldn't throw it. The second time he did because he got hit the first time. But Thompson damn sure ain't Drake. No. I think that was going a little far there, bro. You're a little too close to it, Coach Top. A little too close to it. Get him. You can get him on this one. I'm with you there. No, and I'm telling you that I think that they did the best they could do under the circumstances, man. And it was not good with the coordinator, and the injuries did not help. I think Kaepernick on offense is going to be a big deal. Drake reminds me of Rudy. That's fucking shut up. Oh. All right, guys. Let's see. We've been going for an hour and a half. I'm going to drop real quick. Well, before I do, I'll go ahead and drop these. I'm going to go edge rushers and linebackers here. Do this real quick. Hold on real quick. I'm going to run this commercial. Check out our sponsors to help us out. Make sure you've hit the like button. We've got a lot of people in here. Make sure you've hit the like button. Are you tired of your game day gear looking like it's stuck in the offseason? Well, step up your fandom with Hall of Fame College Football's official Fanatics partner store. Whether you're a diehard Oklahoma Sooners fan like myself, bleeding crimson and cream, or you rep another one of the SEC's heavy hitters, Fanatics has you covered. Shop thousands of officially licensed hats, jerseys, sideline polos, and exclusive championship merch from the entire Power 4 and Group of 6 too. All shipped directly to your doorstep and fast. Want to gear up like your favorite coaches and players? Are you looking for that perfect tailgate tee or a statement piece for your man cave? Fanatics is your one-stop shop for authentic college football gear from everybody that plays the game. So do yourself and your team a favor. Click our link in the description or simply log on to hofmedia.us/fanatics. That's hofmedia.us/fanatics. And you can shop everything that you want for the best prices of the day right on our Fanatics partner page. Hey, Jason Watkins here with Hall of Fame College Football. And if you are ready to back your favorite team, the Sooners, and fade that Texas hype train every Saturday this fall, there's only one place to do it, MyBookie. Right now, you can double your first deposit up to $1,000 when you sign up at hofmedia.us/mybookie1000. That's hofmedia.us/mybookie1000. Yep, 100% deposit bonus, and it takes less than 5 minutes to get started. Whether you're betting college football, rolling the dice in the online casino, or dropping a 10-leg parlay, on SEC Chaos. MyBookie has everything you need. Bet anytime, anywhere, on the go, at the tailgate, or yelling at the refs from your couch. Just don't talk trash. Put your money where your mouth is. Hit that link, hofmedia.us/mybookie1000, and get your deposit bonus today. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie and Hall of Fame college football. All right, so actually we're having some issues with this graphic that I have, and I'll just get to that on Friday. What I'm going to do on Friday, I'm going to go ahead and drop my first power rankings for the SEC, and I'll go ahead and do top 5 SEC linebackers, edge rushers, secondary, and then we'll get into receivers and all those guys next week. But I'm going to go ahead and do power rankings for the teams as well. So we'll do 3 position groups in the SEC, and then power rankings on Friday. But let's talk a little bit more about what are we expecting from Coach Venables and those guys today. What are we expecting there? Maybe, but get on here bashing players, family, shit, bro. Weak as fuck. Who's bashing? Who are we talking about? Oh yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Let's say, hey Benji, stay off of Bonnie Thompson. Stay off Bonnie Thompson, man. She loves her son, and she gets rowdy. She definitely gets rowdy. But I mean, do you blame her? PS5 college football 25 was Texas number 1 and beat OU by 20 in the same game. Yeah, I saw that. They had OU putting 44 points up on Michigan, though. Oh, this is crazy. Getting all kinds of crazy ass text messages right now. They're going. How do I know about them? Or who are you asking? Oh no, Benji was saying it. Yeah, she's Twitter. Everybody knows her if you pay attention to Twitter. OU and Texas Twitter, she would go at it with them Texas folks all the time. Beat Alabama too? Oh wow. The Bama fans probably tripping about that. All right, well, leave it alone. Leave it alone. Let's not talk about that shit. What are we expecting out of Brent Venables and the fellas today? What are you expecting to? First off, what questions do you think are headed his way? You think it's going to be a lot about being on the hot seat and what their defense is going to be, or what do you think? What do you think he's going to get asked by the SEC media? That's my question. What are you guys thinking on that? All right, guys. Hey, what's up there, Neilio? Good to see you. Coach Top. Stoops and Cody Schrader, 2 of the best stories in 2023. I agree. You're talking about Schrader was the running back there, right? He was a bad dude. Hot seat, how to work with Nagy, loss of Joe C, top 3 questions. Okay. All right. I think that the first person to ask about hot seat stuff, he's going to say he's on the hot seat every year he's been a coach. That's his line. And I would tend to agree with him. This is a guy that if you think about who Brent Venables is and why he is the way he is, this is a dude that was never supposed to play college football. He went to JUCO, played his ass off, ended up at K-State, was a starter there and one of their best players. And he was not, I mean, you look athletically speaking, he should not have been. He is Drake Stoops. If you think, talking about guys that Rudy type dudes that shouldn't probably play, that guy made the most out of what he had. He made the most out of what he had. And so that's the way he's taken to coaching as well. I remember him telling that story about there were coaches that would talk, about just negativity and stuff like that. He didn't want to hear it. He was going to go out there and do his thing as a coach. He's become look, make no mistake, he's the best defensive coach in the country. He's the best defensive coach in the country. They don't beat Alabama twice for national championships at Clemson without Brent. They don't. And in fact, before he got there, Dabo's ass was on the hot seat. His ass was in trouble. His recruiting, his ability to make it go very well was, that was that. Now, I think that it's fair to question whether or not, he's the head coach, because he still has some stuff to prove on that. He does. He did win 10 games his second year. He did. And I think that he's on the right track to be that. And I think that they've given him what he needs to have. That's why I'm saying I don't think that there's a lot of excuses left for Brent. I just don't. But that being said, when it comes to the hot seat stuff, this is the way he's always coached, like he was, coaching for his job, no matter what. Back from whether he was a GA or a defensive coordinator or whatever, he's always coached that way. And he loves the game, and his players love him, man. I'll tell you that. I find it crazy that we would want to pull the plug on the guy too early, because I'm going to tell you this. There will be it'll be a mass exodus behind his ass if they fire him. I think there's a certain number that I don't know that it's 8 wins or not. I get it. I get that people think that Sooner Cowboys, we've already heard it. I get it. If you think that he needs to win 8, whatever the hell, I understand. I'm going to tell you, I don't think that if he wins 7 games, goes 7-5 in the regular season, he's going to be here next year. He is. Because they owe him too much money, his staff too much money, they got too much money in this shit. Love Joe C. Think he got comfortable. We need a new forward-thinking, proactive thinker. Yeah, I don't know exactly. I think that it's kind of passed him by a little bit. I think that he was what Oklahoma needed when they got him, when he got here. That's 28 years ago. And I think that when you stop evolving, I think he's been a fine athletic director for the rest of the athletic program. I don't know that his rigidness when it comes to football was all that helpful lately. I think that what happened with that turnip seed was unfortunate and definitely shouldn't have happened. I think that, and I do believe that he didn't allow Brent to fire Seth Littrell, and I'm starting to think more that he was the reason that Seth Littrell was hired. Because, we talk about it being mailed in. I don't think it was mailed in on the part of Brent. Now, I don't think that Brent stood up and fought like he should have. I don't. But I think a lot of that was on Josie. And I'm pretty damn sure that he had a lot to do with the medical team sticking around for whatever reason. But transfers, development, Mateer's favorite targets, and health of the status of our injuries. Okay. Yeah, I don't know that they're going to talk a bunch about the injuries right now, but I think you're going to hear a lot. I think he's transfers, development. I would say you'll probably hear a lot about the offensive line. I'm certainly they're going to talk a lot about Mateer. Of course, Mateer's there too. So I would tell you that I agree with that. Drake had Velcro hands. Oh, yeah. Lebby thinks highly of BT. Yeah, he does. Hey, man, look, I would tell you that no matter who you are, you would want to have a guy like Brennan Thompson around. A guy that's that freaking fast, you damn sure want a guy like that around. No doubt. He did have a good reputation. From what I understand, he was bullshitting about how much he had been play calling, though. He was never a play caller before UNT, and apparently the only time that he really called the plays was his last season at UNT, and it got him fired. It sounds to me like he took a lot of credit for his coordinators early on. This is my feelings on it. This is what I've heard on it. But you got to understand that he was at Oklahoma the year before that as a he was a analyst working with them. So it was an easy hire, but they were choosing between him and Matt, which he's at no, never mind. Anyways, Matt Wells, it should have went the other way. Who are we talking about? Who's talking about BV's wife? Hey, is anybody in here talking about BV's wife and shit? Who did that? Oh no, he's not here. No, Beevil's bodyguards. I don't remember him doing that, but he's no, okay. Anyway. He did on Coach Rich's show. I didn't know that. Well, that was stupid. Yeah, he should definitely be banned. He's a dipshit anyways, though. It shouldn't surprise anybody. All I know is that, hey, man, if you're one of those people that you talk stupid shit like that and you don't ever use your real name and shit like that, like you always see these clowns on Twitter that do all that shit. They'll talk the maddest shit. I had the one guy talking shit to Gerald McCoy, and it's an Oklahoma fan. And he's got some stupid name or whatever, and he's talking all kinds of shit. He was talking all kinds of shit to me last week. This is why I hardly ever go on that damn thing. But before that, he was going at JP from the JP and Trav show, and then him and Gerald McCoy, and he talked some shit to Gerald McCoy. And, of course you're going to say that shit when nobody knows who the fuck you are. Weak. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. He does. I've blocked a few of them. They're Sooner Cowboys. Yeah, no. You guys are all right, Kobe. Shit. You can go back and forth with us. We don't even care about that. No, he is awesome. He is awesome. But, I mean, and he's, Gerald, hey, listen. You got to expect some trolling and stuff to come his way whenever he trolls too. I mean, he talks some shit on there himself. Gerald plays the game. So it is what it is. But like, it was stupid. And it was what that guy went at him over. It was when I think Gerald said something about shouldn't probably be out on the streets tonight after they lost game 2, after the Thunder lost game 2, that he knows his Oklahoma people. And somebody threw a little shit fit about it. That guy threw a little shit fit about it. A few people did. There's some people that definitely don't like him that are OU people. And, I would tell you I think I know the reason for that, but no, I like Gerald though. I think he's awesome. And shit, you want to talk about a hell of a football player? That guy can fucking play. What nerd is always running his mouth on here? Bevo's bodyguard's not on here. He hadn't been here in 6 months, man. I've been done, got rid of that guy. How is he working with Nagy? I think that a lot of that's going to come up. I think that recruiting should come up as well today. I think a lot of that's going to come up. And to be honest with you, I'm surprised that it hasn't been more of a topic with everybody on that stuff. Now, the SEC recruits at the top as far as the rankings are concerned because, most of the championships have been coming out of the SEC for the last 20 years. You know, you had the last two that went to the Big Ten, but before that, you had one that went to the Big Ten and two other ones that went to the ACC with Clemson. And so, they were the only ones recruiting like that were Urban Meyer. He came from the SEC when he won that first one, when they went to the 14 playoff. And they weren't picked to win it, but they did. They were lit. They were nice too. But then they didn't do it again. But Michigan doing it this 2 years ago. And then, of course, and I would tell you that, again, Texas should have won that one. Texas should have won that one. They were set up to win that one. It is what it is. Nah, man, these guys are good for sure. Yeah. When I put them in timeout, I usually do it just for shits and giggles because it makes me laugh. You know. They probably hate his love for all comic book themes. Yeah, he's definitely a comic book guy. Yeah. Batman himself. He's hilarious. His Sark's wife, we would absolutely pray. Oh, yeah, dude. And, dude, by the way, Sark's wife is smoking hot. Shit. Smoking hot. I was surprised when they were getting divorced or whatever. They were talking about getting divorced. I'm glad that they figured it out. That's probably good for Sark that they did figure it out and stayed together because no telling. Pray for Arch's health. I sacrificed Chick-fil-A tender strips in his name, doing your part. I love it. Sacrificing Chick-fil-A chicken strips. That's awesome. That is fucking awesome. Hey, man, I hit up the Buc-ee's on my way back the other day and freaking loaded up on the – hey, so the best thing they now have at Buc-ee's, I'm just going to tell you. We're going to go ahead and get out of here after this. The best thing at Buc-ee's now is they're doing the brisket in a burrito with feels like it's Velveeta cheese or something. I got one. I went ahead and got 3 sandwiches because I brought some back, and because I put it in one of those hot bags or whatever, and I ended up icing shit down actually. But I ate the burrito. I got a burrito and 4 or 5 sandwiches, so I'd have them the next few days. I wish I'd gotten a bunch of them damn burritos. They were unbelievable. It was unfreaking believable. I was like, holy shit. It's the best thing they got. The best thing they got. They are the shit. Oh, Buck Nugs are the shit? You talking about the honey jalapeno jerky? Yeah, pretty good. Buffy's beef. Yeah, the beef jerky is real good. I got a bag of that too. Shout out to Buc-ee's. Got another cup too. No doubt. No, man, I'm telling you, man, if you're hungry, you got to, bro. I'm telling you, you got to check out the burrito that because they threw some cheese in it. And usually I don't really care about cheese in a brisket burrito, but it set it off on this one. Maybe I was just hungry. Well, it was good. It was good. Damn good. The 3 meat sandwich is, bro, that's pretty good too. Yeah. I had that last time I went there. Nothing saves the relationship than having kids. Oh yeah, they're having a kid, huh? That's right. That's what it was then. Okay. Well, hopefully it all works out for old Sark. Yep. Yep. Live like a mile away from the one in Texas City. I'm so tired of it, but we hit it every week still. Yeah. Man, I don't know. I love it. Anytime I get close to one, I go. It is owned by an Aggie, actually. They did good on that one, man. And Aggie did good on that one. I'm going to be on. Yeah, I will be on. Here, I'll drop you the link to it. Give me just a second. But it's High Top Sports. I think it's just at High Top Sports, but let me make sure. If you're not a subscriber to High Top, you should be. They are Gator guys, but that fucking channel is legit. They are legit. They do a great job. Yeah, it's just at High Top Sports. Oops. No. What the hell? Yeah, at High Top Sports. I'll drop the link in there. Should be around 3:30, about 3:30 Eastern, so about 2:30 Central for all you Central time zoners. I'll be on there and they'll be talking some shit. There you go. Go over there and subscribe. They got a great channel though. They really do. They do some awesome stuff. I don't know. Are they? That's cool. They've got a bunch right near the border anyway. That one in Melissa is like the biggest one I think that they have. The one up by Melissa, Texas, and Denton and all that area. That thing is huge. They have golf cart parking there. Nice. What's up, Drew? Where you been, man? Coach? Good to see you, dog. Yeah, y'all jump on there and catch it. Make sure you do. Drew. Coach, he's an offensive coordinator there in Oklahoma City. At what's the Catholic school called there, Drew, that you're the OC at? Trying to remember. Good to see you, man. You'll have to jump on with us one of these times. I'm about to get out of here, but summer workouts. That's what I figured. That's what I figured. Busting it. Yeah, man. Big Bucky's El Reno. Oh, are you gone now? Did you switch jobs again? That's what's up. Just took a new job. Are you the head coach or are you the OC? When are you going to be a head coach? Come on. He was at Nathan Hill. Yeah, I think he was at Nathan Hill before. He's a hot commodity, man. He got it down. Congratulations on the new gig, man. Congrats. All right, guys. I'm going to get out of here. Make sure that you have hit that like button if you hadn't already, and become a subscriber if you haven't, because we're inching closer, and I say inching because it's too damn slow. But we are inching closer to 5,000 subscribers on the channel. It would be great if we hit that before the season starts, and if we do, I'll be giving away 2 free copies of NCAA 26. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and make sure you hit the like button for sure. It helps us tremendously. We've had over 500 people in here. We've got 41 people in here right now in the YouTube side, and we've got 42 likes. So I appreciate that very much. OC and quarterback coach. My man, congratulations, man. Hey, man, thank you, Brew, on this. Thanks to everybody for coming in. We appreciate it. We had old Dookie Price. Is it bothering you that, that we're getting that Aggie business up here too? So, okay. All right, guys. Appreciate everybody coming in. Modern Day Caveman, He caught me at the end. We'll see you guys all on the next one.